Dear student friends, I am Dr. Godbole Mahendra Tukaram welcoming you all again in my today's presentation. It is the next part of the geography. In previous lecture of the geography, which was very fruitful for the different competitive examination, including the UPSC-Nda, UPSC Civil Services, different states examinations, as well as university and the schooling examination for both the CBSE and the state board examination. The previous lecture was very important. In today's lecture, I am going to talking about the next sequel of the same geography, in which I am going to explaining about the internal and external forces. The internal and external forces, let us example or enlist those are the internal forces. Let us take an example. The earthquake is supposed to be the internal force. While talking about the next internal force comes the volcanic emission or the volcanic eruption is also the internal force. While talking about the external force, the Coriolis force on the surface of the earth, it is going to creating the cyclones. Cyclone is supposed to be or climatic phenomena, which is supposed to be the external force. The sea currents, sea water currents is also the volcanic. It is the next force as an external force. The another next external force, we may call it as the gravitational force. It is going to pulling the earth and creating a different high and low tides. So these all components I am going to presenting in today's lecture. As I rightly told you all, that lecture or the today's lecture will be very fruitful for the different kinds of the examinations, maybe the UPSC-Nda examination, for the UPSC or the civil services examination, as well as this will be rightly fruitful for the universities, UG and the PG examination, for the schooling examination, including the CBSE and the state services, state board examination. This lecture will be very, very important. So I'm going to explaining about the earth is, how to manifesting, how the different forces manifesting the geomorphological change on the surface of the earth. The earth is supposed to be continuously shaped by the dynamic internal and external forces. The internal force, like volcanic eruption, may create the different rocks, different shape. Let us take an example of the Maharashtra. This is the Maharashtra. Maharashtra plateau has been created by the continuous volcanic activities, fissure type of the volcanic activities. There are the two type of the volcano. One is supposed to be a central type of the volcano and another one is a fissure type of the volcano. The land may be, due to the faulting, the magma may comes on the surface of the earth and the fluid may be flow on the surface of the earth at a very long distance. Again, either the fluid or the volcanic molten volcanic material either may flow to the limited region or it may flow to the longer region. It is based upon whether the volcanic material is acidic or basic. If it is acidic in nature, it cannot cross the longer distance, it cannot travel the longer distance, but it is a basic in color, like in a volcano of the Maharashtra, fissure type, it may cover very limited, it may reaches to the longer distance. Okay, the internal and external forces which builds and worn down in a broken down the surface of the earth. While globally the hydrosphere regulates the climate and drives the fluid circulation. Understanding these systems explain how the planet physical geography, oceans and the landforms interact. Okay, on the surface of the earth, the hydrosphere is also important. It is going to interacting with the rocks and it is also creating it is also going to managing the different water bodies. The internal forces, those are the endogenic. Those endogenic forces, we can call it as a endogenic or the internal force, may be powered by the earth's primordial heat and the radioactive. These forces build the planet's major relief feature. The primordial forces means since the formation of the earth, the internally earth is too much hot. As we may go interior of the earth, we may encounter 2500 degree temperature at the mantle, or if may goes on increasing within the towards the core of the earth, we may find the more temperature. And the earthquake is also an important manifestation to know the interior of the earth, because the earthquake may emit the different kinds of the waves, like the P waves, S waves and L waves. P waves are supposed to be primary waves. They may be reported on the seismograph first. This is supposed to be a seismograph which can have a zigzag like linings, like that is an ECG of our heart. Okay, these forces or this volcanic activity followed by the earthquake may give us an internal structure of the earth, because direct observation it is not possible, because the earth's temperature goes on increasing as we are going to reaching the deeper level of the earth. Next one is a volcano. Volcano is an eruption of the molten rock material, or the molten rock, magma and lava, and the gases or the different volcanic bombs. Even ash may also emit on the surface of the earth, and it occur at the plate boundaries where the crust subducts to pulls apart or over stationary hot spots. There are the different types of the plate boundaries. Many times the plates may come towards each other. Let us take an example of the formation of the Himalaya as an youngest mountain, where the subduction where took place, or the volcanic, that is the, so we can call it as the subduction or the collision. Collision means the India or the Eurasian plate. This is the northern side Eurasian plate and southern side the Indian plate were collided towards each other, and formation of the Himalaya has took place. And at every year the height of the Himalaya is going to increasing day by day, just like the the growth of the nail of the human being. While talking about the earthquake's magnitude, the earthquake magnitude is varies. Low magnitude earthquakes may not be destroy the structures or the engineerings on the surface of the earth, like the dams and houses and buildings and the different structures which is an anthropogenic or man-made. But if the earthquake is strong, or if it is moderate to strong and very strong and feeble, means it is having the more intensive earthquake or the more intensity earthquake up to the 8 degree, or the greater than the 8, or up to the 9, 10. So that may destroy, that may be feeble, that may be very catastrophic. The catastrophes can be created. What is meant by the catastrophic? Catastrophic, catastrophic means everything can be destroyed by the earthquake, and this intensity is from 1 degree, that is in micro, followed by the minor to light, light up to the light, and 4 to 5 degree, 4 to 5 earthquake magnitude scale will be the moderate scale, and from in 6 to 7 that will be the strong, and again from strong to strong means the 7 scale to, or 7 magnitude scale to the 8, that will be the measure followed by the great at the 9 scale, and it may also reaches to the catastrophes, means it can be destroy everything on the surface of the earth, like the Khilari earthquake, Bhuj earthquake 2001 in Gujarat. Those were the catastrophic earthquake. There are certain morphologies of the earthquakes, or the important concept. The exact location within the surface of the earth from where the earthquake's waves are emitted, it is known as a focus. And those waves are reported on the surface of the earth exactly horizontally to the focus. We can call them as a epicenter. Many times we read in the newspaper the earthquakes of the Nepal epicenter. It was situated on the northeast side of the that city and this city. Okay, that is the epicenter. It is exactly situated vertically on the focus, and focus is the center where the earthquake is going to emitting in a different direction. and the first reported waves will be the P waves, followed by the S wave as a secondary waves. The P waves they may be a compressional waves. S wave may be it may be a fro and back waves, fro and back, and the next one may be created. The different faulted structures may be created by the earthquakes. That is maybe the reverse fault and strike faults. Volcanic emission or the magma as a lava and the ash gases may come on the surface of the earth. Now the next important point of this presentation is a hydrosphere. In the hydrosphere we will talk about the oceans, because the water is situated, the oceans are supposed to be a salty water, and those oceans, the large continuous movements of the seawater. The seawater is also in a moment. It is a continuous in movement. It is having a different tides, and those tides are driven by the earth rotation and the Coriolis effect. The earth's rotation may create the Coriolis force. The object on the northern hemispheres may be directed towards the right side, whereas in the below the equatorial regions it may be directed towards the eastern sides. Means to north to east, that kind of the Coriolis force will be created, and the wind may be created, and that is also a part of the monsoon. The Coriolis force is responsible for the formation of the monsoon, that is in alternating winds and the heatings and the cooling phenomena. Now the transports of the vast amount of the heat and acting in the planets, that is the climate regulators. The oceans are also the climate regulator, because we know nowadays we are going to suffering from the El Nino, where the ocean water is too much hot. Therefore, it is going to disturbing the cyclic phenomena of the monsoon. Means the ocean water is very important, either to form the different currents or different wind system on the surface of the earth, and ultimately the clockwise winds which are going to bringing or leading the different moisture from an Arabian Ocean, and it is going to coming towards the northwestern side of the Indian subcontinent, and we the Indians are going to having a lot of or in a good quantity of the precipitation or the rainfall. That is the hydrosphere. The tide is also important. The tide can be created by the pulling force, either by the earth or by the moon, either by the sun or the moon, because this tide is supposed to be a periodic or the cyclic rise and fall of the sea levels caused by primarily the gravitational pull of the moon and by the sun. See, the moon is going to pulling the tides or the ocean water here, and here also the sun is also pulling the water towards its gravitational force, and therefore the high tides are created by the sun and moon. And this is the the wind system is created, and that wind system is going to circulating the water around the torrid zone or the equatorial region. We may find the more temperature is more around, because here we may receive the vertical lights, but as we are going to moving towards the either above tropic of the Cancer or below the tropic of the Capricorn, we may receive very less temperature, because the earth is oblate and earth is an oblique. Earth is oblique around its own axis. Therefore, the top of the earth and the bottom as a northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, it is receiving very less heat by the sun. So it was all about the internal and external forces of the earth. That's all. In next lecture, we will talk about the remaining concept of the geography, as well as we may also talk the polity or the Indian Constitution in next upcoming lecture, along with our regular biology lectures. Thank you.